This is the 6th video for writing formulas for ionic and polyatomic compounds. Like the previous video, the 5th one, we're going to look at 2 examples. We'll do one together, and then I'll have you pause for the second example and try to do it for yourself before I actually go through it with you. So here's copper 2 oxide. Again, metal first. We find out where copper is on the periodic table. There it is there. It's Cu. So we write that. Oxide, again, non-metals, you can check those names on the back of your periodic table in 2 lists. And when you look at the second list, names for some non-metals, you'll see that oxide is right there, and that's oxygen. So we'll write O. Now we need to use your this periodic table here to figure out the charges of these guys. Copper is positive 2 or positive 1, so we have a choice. Well, that choice is actually eliminated by the fact that we have Roman numerals here, II. And again, on the back of your periodic table, you've got II there. And we know that Roman numeral II is 2. So the copper here in this particular substance has a charge of positive 2. Oxide is oxygen, like we said. It has a charge of negative 2. So we put that there. Now we do a crisscross rule. And we have Cu2O2. We have only one type of non-metal there, so it's not polyatomic, so we don't have to worry about brackets. But 2 and 2 are not in lowest terms. So we divide both of those to get the numbers lower. If we divide both of them by 2, we get Cu1O1, which we don't generally write that way, and we write it CuO. That's copper oxide. In the second example, we're going to look at cobalt 3 oxide. So pause the video, take a moment, and try and figure it out. Alright, we're back, and let's find out what the answer to this guy is. So we've got cobalt. Cobalt is CO. Hydroxide is, again, in the second half of the name, so it's going to be non-metal. And we have to figure out if hydroxide is regular non-metal or a polyatomic. So we're looking for the list here, carbide, through that list there. We don't see hydroxide listed there. So we have to go to the second list, which is for polyatomic ions, and we look for hydroxide, and we notice that it's right there, and that is OH negative 1. So we write OH negative 1. Let's look at this list here. And we find cobalt, and we know that cobalt is positive 2 or positive 3. Well, which is it? Well, because we have Roman numerals in it now, we notice that it's 3, so the charge has to be positive 3. Now let's do the crisscross rule. So it's CO1 OH3. Let's do the third rule. It says isolate the nonmetals in brackets if more than one type present. So we have OH, we have more than one nonmetal, and we have 3 of them. So we have to put brackets around this guy, like this, to complete the answer. And of course we have a 1 here that we don't have to write. So we remove it, and now our formula is this. In this particular example, it would be incorrect to leave the formula like this, like this, because this indicates that we have cobalt, oxygen, and 3 hydrogens, when in fact that's not what we have. What we have is cobalt, hydroxide, and we have 3 of those hydroxides.